I found a little, I'm gonna say it's like I don't know, it's got like little railroad tracks down there. I was gonna do a little bit more between episodes, but I thought we'd explore this together. I'll give you a little guys a little update. The fuck? Oh, that's part of the music? On what I have done. We've got armor now. Copper's actually useful now. The last time I played Minecraft, you couldn't do anything with it at all. It was like you'd mine around it. It was the worst ore to get. But we got a lot of copper because it's abundant. Got some basic resources. We've got a shield so that the skeletons can't destroy us. And I've never seen one of these before. I didn't think there was stuff like abandoned structures. That's gonna hurt us. In Minecraft, I guess that's kind of a new thing. The other thing that I've also noticed that I'm kind of coming around to, is the music. Because the OG soundtrack, that's a spawner. Of what? Do I just, like... Hello? Go on, go on. I hear him. Does this destroy it? Guys, I don't know what I'm doing. I hear someone close though. Maybe I have to destroy the stuff around it too. This will be... Hello? Hello? I'm quite scared. Wait, I'm gonna need light once this is destroyed. Oh, this is sick. What is this? Oh, they're down there. Maybe if I pickaxe it. I like mine it. Ah, yeah. Okay. Maybe we do want to see what's down. Let's go this way first. I'm a bit scared. I've come around to the music. It's actually a pretty good soundtrack. I was very nostalgic. I'm lost. We came from that way. For the original soundtrack. Aiden. But I gotta admit, it kind of slaps, this one. It's pretty dang good. Okay, I don't see any risks. Let's get some lime. What I wanted to talk about today was the Stranger Things finale. Because I was disappointed by it. I was never a huge fan of Stranger Things. I did get into it. I loved the 4th season. Prior to that, I was just kind of like, this is a good show. So I was never a super fan. But I was disappointed by the final season, and I don't think I was disappointed for the same reasons that a lot of people are saying, because I don't think it was entirely bad. A lot of people are just saying, you know, crap last season, there was production inconsistencies, nothing was done well, it was just crap entirely, and I don't think that's true. The main two, I'm not going to say how many points, because I'm just going to keep rambling. The main points that I've been bringing up when talking about it with friends is, one, with the scripting, it's like they were still writing for 13-year-olds, but the actors were 20 now, so that's not going to sound natural or good in any way, you know? I've heard I feel like, are there chests and stuff, like, is there things down here to collect? I hope there are. But yeah, the scripting, I don't know. It's difficult to listen to at times. Let's just put it that way. I want to use up some of these. There we go. Because they're still saying stuff like, what's one of the lines? It's that same, like, friendship talk. This is a maze that gets said in the seasons when they're like 10 years old. And it's cute when they're 10. When they're like, you're my best friend. La da 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 da. But when they're 20, you're like, what 20-year-old would say this? Really? Like, none, I think. So that was my first point, was just the scripting. Not even for the kids. Like, some of the shit, like, the adult, like, Winona Ryder, David Harbour, all that. Some of the stuff that they were saying. Not David Harbour. He could make a fucking wet blanket of a script sound like a masterpiece. He is a phenomenal actor. I have loved him even in this season. But yeah, just the scripting in general. Didn't love it. And the other thing that I've been saying, though, is that... Whoa, it's open out here. This is crazy. Hello? The plot of it is actually good. And I'm gonna try to not give any spoilers. So don't worry about that. If I think I'm gonna say a spoiler, I'll give a little, hey, I'm gonna say a spoiler beforehand. There's nothing here. Okay. I'm not that interested in exploring the mine, like the caverns just yet. I more just want to explore this abandoned structure first. Sorry if it's boring to view. Get over it. Coal. I mean, why not? Let's get some more. The plot of the final season, I actually thought was really good. In, like, generalistically, as an overarching thing, I think the explanations that they came up with for some things was really cool. I liked it. Yeah, the, like, sci-fi explanations of stuff, I thought they actually did it quite well. And I think the reason that the final season sucked so much is because it had that potential. And the execution just was awful. There was no execution. Where are we going? It's all dead ends. I don't know. How do I say this without spoiling it? The first 3 episodes I thought were pretty good. I was like, okay, I have some faith in this final season. This isn't the best thing ever written, but as TV goes, I'm quite enjoying this. Do we go up there? Yeah. We're in hardcore mode, so I'm not doing anything silly. I'm gonna go this way. Can you hurt me, motherfucker? No, you can't. Then the next 3. I think it was 3 that came after that. Maybe it was 2. I don't know. The next batch of episodes came out. And it was a bit of a... It got worse with each episode. Let's just say that. Bit of a hot, stinky pile of garbage. It was just a bit messy, I thought. And then the final episode, sorry. The best way to describe it, for me, was anticlimactic. Just entirely so. For the same reason. It has potential. I actually cried during a scene in the final episode. There's nothing up here. There were moments that felt very intense. Like, they didn't completely fuck it. And I think that's the reason it was so disappointing. What the heck? There's just stairs here. Is because it had that potential and then it just didn't deliver, and... Whoa. I think even the die-hard fans who are defending it felt that way, because there was a thing called conformity gate that has now been proven to not have been true. Basically, conformity gate, hello, I need more things, was a bunch of people saying, well, the final episode had to be a fake episode because there's no way. Like, these are the people who were saying, it was great, guys, I don't know what you're complaining about. We got a good episode. Like, it was good. These are the same people who were saying that. Hello. They were saying, you know, this has to be a fake finale. The real finale is going to come out, I think it was the 7th or 8th of January. is when the real finale is going to come out, because there have been so many production inconsistencies. And what else? Just like open ends left. And I think that they were suppressing the underwhelmingness of that last episode. And I have a bone to pick, because I was a huge fan of Game of Thrones. How do we get out of this place? There's nothing interesting down here. We got some iron though, so that's good. This isn't the way. I was a huge fan of Game of Thrones when it came out. Like, a bit obsessed with it. And I didn't hate the last season. And I didn't really get the level of hatred that final season got. It was not as good as the first seasons, but there was still decent scripting. There was still a decent story, but people felt as though, you know, their favourite characters had been destroyed. Is that an Enderman? Fuck. Maybe there's something that way though, if there's an Enderman that way. Is that how that works? It's not an Enderman, it's a zombie. And I think, you know, I'm not saying it's a perfect episode. It had its problems. I think they didn't build up to it quite as well as they probably could have to make people feel satisfied. But I did like that they didn't just like baby you with the final episode. You know, they weren't just like, it's all good. It doesn't matter what the show has been about. Because I think the whole... Is there something behind me? I think a big fucking... Hello? There's definitely something this way. I think a big part of that last episode... Hold on, I've got to focus. I've got to... Oh no! Hello? I can't go to that Enderman. I think a big point of... If you haven't... I will spoil Game of Thrones, because if you haven't seen it, I don't know. You should have. I think that's the wrong thing to do. A big point that they were trying to get across is kind of all the people who sort of thirsted for power over everything else. In the end... Hello? Okay, I don't think we can go that way. Let's go this way. They got a crap ending. Because I think that the whole moral point of the... That's crap. That's also crap. What about this? I think the whole moral point is that, you know, the people who really desired power and were kind of corrupt, and that's not something that you're meant to do. Because the person who ends up with the power at the end is kind of the guy who wanted it the least out of everyone. But... So I think Game of Thrones... Okay, there's nothing. Let's go back up. Succeeded in a lot of areas, more areas than Stranger Thrones, than Stranger Things did. And yet people... Because when I finished that final episode, with the way it ended, I said... If this doesn't get the level of hatred that Game of Thrones got for its final episode, that is actually ridiculous, because this is worse. As an overall, they kind of pandered and babied the audience. They were a bit lazy, I think, because there's quite a few things that people obviously wanted answered, because they've been going online and going there, but what about this? What about this? And the Duffer Brothers have just gone, well, I think we wanted to leave that up to the interpretation of the audience, which is actually how they finished the entire show, which I don't think that's good script writing. I think it's laziness. I think creators of things need to just actually... Oh, blue chicken. Commit to something. Even if it might be upsetting to some people. Like, that's reality, right? Things are going to be upsetting to some people sometimes, and some people are going to appreciate it sometimes. And I think maybe the Duffer Brothers got a little too attached to their own characters, and they didn't want to... I'm trying not to spoil. I think they got a little too attached, and I think they also got a little too scared of what people's perception of stuff would be. And speaking on both Game of Thrones and Stranger Things, I do kind of see how no matter what you do with the final season, people's expectations are going to be so high that you're gonna be harshly, like, I'm sure that there were plot inconsistencies and stuff of that level in earlier Stranger Things, but people aren't viewing it quite as harshly, and they aren't going in on it at the same level as you would for a final season. Don't look at them. I don't think there's anything important in here. Anyway, we're in a bit of a valley at the moment. Let's get up. So I understand the difficulty, but it has annoyed me a lot that it's gotten so much defense when, in my opinion, it was so much worse than the Game of Thrones finale. There wasn't that much wrong with the Game of Thrones finale. I actually recently rewatched Game of Thrones with someone, and again, spoiler if you haven't seen it, skip 10-20 seconds. About 3 episodes in, they were calling Daenerys the dragon bitch and saying she's too power hungry, she's a bitch, she's evil. And so if you had the right lens on when you were viewing Game of Thrones, you could see that coming, because a lot of people's complaint was they pulled that out of nowhere. Whoa, 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 whoa. And I do think that Game of Thrones, the final season needed to be split into 2, because the big bad kind of gets done halfway through the season, and I think they should have given more time to the 2 kind of aspects of the show, with the Nightwalkers and then the political landscape. But I don't know. My point is that I don't know why people are being extra kind to Stranger Things. It wasn't that bad. It had its benefits, but it didn't have more than Game of Thrones. If you want a show that has a superb every episode, like solid gold, which way should we go, guys? We've got, actually, this is the first time I've been able to kind of see what's around us. We've got the snowy biome over there, and then we are surrounded for miles and miles to come. I think we go that way, because then we're still kind of in the same vicinity as the snowy region. We kind of get to stay near that. What happens if I go after the bees? I think I'd die if I go after the bees. But we might discover something new. How long have we been going for? Okay, I think we'll wrap this up. My recommendation to you, watch Arcane. I recommend it to everyone. I loved it. I have both seasons on a steelbook casing, because if it ever goes off streaming services, it would upset me so much if I was never able to see it again. Even like the plot and the characters and the magic system and the character interactions, those in itself are beautiful and incredibly done. But even if you hate all of that, even if you hate the show, you hate the characters, you get no benefit from that, just the freaking animation, the art, it's one of the most beautiful things I have ever seen in Arcane, and it baffles me daily that people were able to animate something just that well. Mushrooms. It's gonna be a wacky night. Okay. We've been going for nearly 20 minutes. I was planning to have more done between episodes, but I saw that mineshaft and thought, I've hit a gold mine, you know? We're gonna find some crazy stuff down here. Turns out we just found some iron. So I'm gonna try and get more. No, this is how we're ending it. Mother of Christ. When I was playing off camera and collecting that stuff, you guys have no idea how many times I got close to ending this whole series by just falling into holes. I need to get a lot more careful with it. I promise this is ending soon. We're just going to see what's in the chest, because I feel like that's a fun way to end it. I promise I will have more done between the next couple of episodes. I don't want it to what happens if I stand on these? Ah! Hey, yay, yay, yay. What do I don't need flowers yet in hardcore. Mother of Christi. I like that. And we'll be able to make some stuff. What else do I get rid of, guys? Trees. Not the Lorax. Okay. Thank you so much. I will have more done. Please, I would actually love to get more perspectives from real people, because I can never tell if it's a bot or not, you know? Bot or not, when you're reading posts and stuff online about things. So let me know what you thought about Stranger Things and Game of Thrones, and above all else, let me know what you thought about Arcane. I could have done an even longer rant about Arcane, because that show is beautiful, but we've gone past the 20 minutes now, so I will see you all in the next one, and bye bye.